Welcome to Around the Weird. Here's your host, the museum curator of the strange and unusual, Mr. Nothing.
Thank you, Mysterious Voice, and welcome back to Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about all the unusual and out of the ordinary literature that I have found in my travels. Today it is Poetry Thursday, so I wanted to talk some more about some poetry that I found to be interesting. Today's poem is all about rain and being caught in the rain. I am referring to Rain by Kazim Ali. For those who don't know, Kazim Ali is a British Indian poet. His parents were Muslim. I don't know if he's Muslim, but that sounds like an interesting fact about him. He has written books of poetry, as well as fictional novels, and also some nonfiction as well. And he's won awards for his work. He frequently writes about spirituality and more abstract concepts. As I was reading some of the poetry he wrote, I was a bit confused by its meaning. I'm willing to admit that a lot of what he's saying doesn't really, I don't really understand what he's getting at, because he's not writing in sort of direct terms. It takes a couple read-throughs to understand, which, that happens with poetry. But I did find one poem from him that, the one I'm talking about, that was particularly stood out as something I wanted to share today. Very interesting to see how he differs from other poets that I've encountered so far. And without further ado, let's talk about Rain. I will read it, do a little bit of analysis, and we will move on from there. Rain. With thick strokes of ink, the sky fills with rain, pretending to run for cover but secretly praying for more rain. Over the echo of the water, I hear a voice saying my name. No one in the city moves under the quick, sightless rain. The pages of my notebook soak, then curl. I've written, yogis open their mouth for hours to drink the rain. The sky is a bowl of dark water, rinsing your face. The window trembles. Liquid glass could shatter into rain. I am a dark bowl waiting to be filled. If I open my mouth now, I could drown in the rain. I hurry home as though someone is there waiting for me. The night collapses into your skin. I am the rain. So that was Rain by Kazim Ali. In terms of analysis, he does a couple of interesting things in this poem. The first thing that is interesting to me is the sort of what he does in each verse, sort of pairing two different lines and then another verse and then two lines and then another verse. But at the end of each verse, he says he uses the word rain. He says, but secretly praying for more rain, the quick, sightless rain. Yogis open their mouths for hours to drink the rain. Glass could shatter into rain. I could drown in the rain, and I am the rain. So each verse ends with the word rain, something about rain in general. And I think it's there because this poem is to get you in the mindset of someone who's thinking quite a bit about the rain. And it works because every verse ends that way. You're by the end of the poem, rain is definitely on your mind, like the narrator right here. Another interesting thing that he does in this poem is how he talks about the water and the rain in general. He says the sky is a bowl of dark water, which is very vivid. You can picture that of just the rain or the sky holding so much rain, just willing or just ready to drip down on the denizens below. He calls himself a dark bowl waiting to be filled, which I think is interesting, and I'll get at that in a few moments. He says over the echo of water, so you can hear the rain falling, and the thick strokes of ink, the sky fills with rain. So the rain's pretty heavy and pretty visible. Thick strokes of ink would be something that anyone could see. And so not only is he talking a lot about the rain, but he's very thorough in his description of the rain, painting a picture that everyone can see right there. But another interesting thing about the rain, and I think what this poem essentially gets at, is how he might not actually be talking about rain. If I were to say this poem seems more sexual in nature, because specifically, as I was saying earlier, he says, "I am a dark bowl waiting to be filled." Filled with what? I think I think the dark bowl, like what he wants to be filled with. He's filled with longing for someone in specific, or for someone in particular. He says, "I hurry home as though someone is there waiting for me." It doesn't say that there is someone there waiting for them. That's a very specific phrase to use, suggesting that a loved one is at home and they are waiting to be filled, waiting for their longing to be satisfied, or some sexual feeling to be satiated. And then they say, "The night collapses into your skin. I am the rain." Sounds like two people together, very close, and that they could practically be one. So that's where I think the sexual is at. I could be misreading this, or there could be another interpretation of this poem entirely. But I think what Kazim Ali is ultimately getting at is how this person sees the rain. It probably makes them think of someone, or how lonely they might be, or something like that. And they go to that person to be with them. Maybe a booty call or something like that. But kind of illustrating how the togetherness and the rain, because the rain touches your skin, it might be, one and the same there. But it is very interesting how he talks about the rain, and also how he uses it as a way to connect people together. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Rain by Kazim Ali. A pretty interesting poem, but one that I don't think I've really scratched the surface of with talking about. I feel that way with a lot of Kazim Ali poems, because there's just so much there, and it's often difficult for me to parse what he's trying to say because of his writing style, and because he's not very direct in what he's saying. Which is good, because it's always good to read poets who are more open to interpretation than other poets. Always fun to see. If you read this poem before, or you simply want to comment on something I said here, do so below. I'm going to put a link to it in the description that you can read it, and we can have a little conversation about it. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that more people can find out about Kazim Ali, or this poem, or Poetry Thursday if they don't already know about it. And until then, I wish you the best of luck in your rainy and weird travels. Farewell.